I think if I were to think about Dancing Frog, the one word that comes to my mind is hope, of us to be able to keep some of the wilderness in its pristine stage, as well as to experience it and still do that without creating too much of a damage to it. But there is still possibility of keeping these places as they are, and I think that's the hope. Name is Premkumar Vadapalli. I've been in Bangalore for about 27 years. Currently been working in IT, and we just finished 20 years in this Sarovar apartment that we kind of built together. Almost a 2-3 year journey in terms of designing all the process and everything, getting the house built. Then when COVID happened, I ended up starting to work from home. And that's when I would take breaks, get to the balcony, and then started noticing the birds, getting interested, digging a little further. So that's kind of how I picked up birding. I'm very happy sitting and just looking at trees and birds and animals for hours. I'm very happy doing that. I think conservation, at least in India, has largely been a state subject or a government-driven thing. There are a lot of natural forests and stuff. As an individual, as a citizen, how do you have your influence on it? I think it's something that's probably more commonly seen in other places like the US, and I think to some extent even in Africa you hear about private reserves and things. But in India, I think it's not been a common thing, and it would always be good to find ways to do that. I think something that I would definitely want to be part of. I was looking for something like this in conservation space to go put an investment into. In our case, I think one of the thought process we were having, me and Sarita, was to see what is it that we want to give to our children. And given our experiences as a family, all the travels we have done, all the memories we've had about wildlife and nature, we felt something related to that was what we were looking for. Then when we came across Dancing Frogs, the key thing that I think attracted me as I got into the insights of it was, it's not a property or a lodge or something that you're buying, but as part of the collective, you're getting a stake in the initiative. It's registered as a company, but you're actually a part owner, and it's something that obviously makes sure that the place is kept intact, and no one person is going off on a divergence in terms of what they want to do with the place. It has to be a collective decision. It also makes it cleaner in terms of when you pass it along, it's more the stake that you're passing along, not necessarily any ownership, and makes it easy obviously to be something that can keep going on in future from you to your children, and maybe hopefully beyond them as well. When I was searching and finding out about Dancing Frogs and mycelium, I also saw about the 100 Hands and their work and them being involved. And I think as part of the initial conversation, we visited their office and had a detailed introduction to the structures and the plans and proposals for the lodging at Dancing Frogs. Definitely pretty cool to see. I think the thought process gone into the contour, how they try to get all the houses on one contour so that they have to do minimal changes to the landscaping in terms of how they can get the pathway built. The thought process into cutting the minimum number of trees and building the structure on stilts so that the footprint on the ground is limited. We are looking forward to the day where we go and as a family get time to spend there, be in the lodge, of course wake up to the sounds of the birds and the flowing water that you can hear from the place. Again, one of the other things that I hope to get is to meet similar minded people, and I think definitely see a lot of that. And of course, there is obviously the thought process of evolving how this thing will go forward. I think as we are looking at the agreements and trying to get clarity on how it will be structured, we definitely see there is thought that has gone into it. There are still obviously open things that we want to go figure out as we go forward, but the intent is very clear, and I think that's really what's the most interesting part of it. Being there, something definitely we're looking forward to.